Hey everyone, welcome back to Tea with the Supremes. This week we're hitting in the middle of summer, so we thought it'd be fun to just talk about summer stuff, summer activities and memories that we have, and just talk about how great summer is. This is Julie. I'm here as always with Cassandra, Mitra, and Ebony.
Hey y'all.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, Supremes?
So as we're talking, let's start with summer activities that we did when we were younger. Did anyone have like routine summer things or summer things that you did for several years in a row with the fam?
My mom used to make me write book reports over the summer, so that was my summers. I would always have to do.
Yours too? I thought it was just my mom's. Go ahead.
I remember one summer she made me do a book report every day on each president of the United States. I had to write a full book report on them. So that was mostly my summers, and the math workbooks and crap. And we still did, we went to the pool. I don't ever think we did me and my sister. So we're 4 years apart. So we did all our sports camps together. There was one we went to for a couple of years. It was soccer, basketball, and volleyball. And then my little brother years later ended up going to the same summer camp as we did. But that was only for 3 or 4 weeks during the summer. And then the rest was, I just had to do school stuff.
Was it sleepaway or day camp?
Oh, it was day camp. She would never let us do an overnight camp.
Yeah, mine's either.
I did when I was older. I mean, not older, actually. I don't know how old I was. I was still elementary school, but I did summer camp for a few years in a row, but only for a week, sleepaway camp.
The only time I did the sleepaway camp, I was in Girl Scouts when I was 7th, 8th grade. That was the first time, because my parents didn't play that. And my mother drove me. It was about 2-3 hours away. And she knew my Girl Scout instructor really, really well. And she wanted to make sure she was staying and she was, because my mom she didn't play those games at all.
What did you think of camp when you went? And what was it? What level of camping was it? Was it cabins? Was it tents?
So for me, everything was the woods, because I had just moved to the South, but it was a very small town, and half the town was the Girl Scout camp. It was acres and acres and it was cabins, and we were in canoes and stuff that was super foreign to me. None of that was, yeah. And
Did you like it?
It was one of the worst almost whoopings I got in my childhood, and I didn't get my father did not whoop me. My mother, on the other hand, she had no problem with it. But I remember telling the people, because they wanted me to get in this canoe with these weird looking people and practice, and said, well, we're gonna flip you over just in case you flip over. You're not flipping me over. Are you crazy? So I told the people I was on my period and I couldn't get in the water, and they were like, you can get in the water. I said, no, they told us if you're black and you get on your period, you can't get in the water. Oh my God. The people called my parents, and my dad was like, well, if you can't get in the water, don't get in the water. And my mom snatched the phone, and you would have thought she was standing right there, the way she hollered and screamed for me to get in that water. And if I didn't get in that water, she was coming down. And I was 12, 13. I really thought she would drive the 3 hours and come down. I know now. Well, yeah, she would have drove the 3 hours and came down. Let's just be honest. But yeah, she was like, get in. If you don't get in it, Mom, why are you yelling? But they want to drown me. They're trying to kill me. They were like, well, and the stupid people, we really didn't know. We had to ask if black girls would. Are you serious? They believed me, you stupid people. But that was probably the worst. My mother threatened my life several times in that conversation.
What else did you do at camp?
I don't remember much after them trying to drown me in the water. And what's funny is it created my love. We went whitewater canoeing, not whitewater rafting. But it's what made me fall in love with adventurous things. Even now, my son is probably the most adventurous person that he'll jump out of, do anything. Like, we want to go bungee jumping. And it started that. However, I wouldn't have seen that, wouldn't even almost figure that out. But I find peace and rest on the water. So, and it started there.
That's funny. It started with trauma.
Well, trauma's not always bad.
Yeah.
Reframe.
Listen, it was traumatic. I will not lie to you. It was very, very traumatic. And I had a Jerry curl, and for my vanilla counterparts. So it's probably the worst hairstyle you could have. That I know many, I guess, African Americans, it might be a rite of passage that we had that Jerry curl growing up. And you could not get your Jerry curl wet in the water. That's not what you did. It didn't work out well. So I looked like a little, I don't know what, by the time it was over with. But it took them 5 days to get me in the water. And then when they got me in, after they tried to kill me, I loved it.
Well, that is a great thing then. But Cassie, I have to ask, did anything about the president stick?
No, because I think I was, what grade was I in? I think I was in like 5th grade when I did it. George Washington, cherry trees, Abe Lincoln, tall AF. That's about all that stuck
Oh, God.
for me.
And she's sitting here shaking her head really, really hard, really trying to remember, that look you get when you're just really deep in thought trying to remember. Yeah, she don't remember.
Nope. History was not my forte. School wasn't my forte. So there's that.
True. I can relate to that.
Do you think the summer stuff that your mom made you do impacted school negatively, positively, anything? Do you think it made it easier? Do you think it made you less ambitious? Do you think it played a role at all?
I think that, so going back into school, like after summer break, I wasn't so like mentally checked out, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like sometimes summer, and it's good to have like that time to decompress from your studies. As we know now, we were only getting 2-week breaks, and we still didn't feel like that was enough. It helped me stay on track for school, but I wasn't a good student until I started college. So that's kind of when I got my life together. So I don't really know if it did, if it didn't. My mom never pushed us to have like straight A's or anything. She just wanted us to be good students, and she'd rather us be good people than good students. So
Nothing wrong with that. Very cool.
Nope. So what all did you do, Julie?
I did camp once a year, which was awesome. It was camp. It was something to do. Like, we lived in the middle of nowhere. I only got to see my family always. Like, it was a nice something to do. Got to meet some new people and do canoeing and swimming. I was like, I would have gone in any degree water at like when I was young, like freezing, it didn't matter. So just getting to swim and canoe and stuff. I used to love swimming in the lake with like the seaweed and stuff. I can't do that now. I'm like, if something touches me, nope. And I even see small lakes now, and I'm like, what are people doing in there? But I used to love it.
The things we did as kids. Huh.
I know, it's funny how you change, and you're like, oh God. Just recently, I brought my kids, my littles, to find mud puddles so they could splash, and they were living their best life, and it was disgusting. And I was like, ugh, that's so good. It's just some muddy, ugh. But they loved it.
What did you put so they didn't get the mud everywhere in the car?
Okay, they did. But it wasn't, I mean, we dried them off. We took them to there was like a splash park near there. So they just kind of rinsed off, and then it wasn't horrible. I think we took their socks and shoes off, but.
My mom would have had a conniption fit of that if that was in her car.
My husband uses his for work, so he gets it detailed all the time. So it's not really like a huge deal, but Yeah. They loved it. It's more like now it's more of me trying to reel in my anxiety about what they're doing. Be like, they're enjoying themselves. Just let them be.
Yep. All you see is infection.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, my mother was like, get out there and go play in the dirt. But see, we couldn't. Now that's not true because, again, I think as we're learning all of these skills, everything comes back down to the things that we've learned. Because we had gender roles. Now, my brothers could go out there and get as dirty and as messy and all those things, and I could go outside and play. But, because you had to put on your play clothes. You couldn't put on. But there was only a limit to what I could do. Like, I couldn't go out there and be out there trying to climb the trees. Not that I was going to, because I think I was a little scary as a kid. I make up for that now as an adult. But yeah, like you couldn't come back. I was a girl, so you couldn't come back all scraped and scarred and bruised up. My mom would say that in a heartbeat. Like, don't be scraping up my pretty skin. Mom, this is me, not you. And she's still, as an adult, I am 42 years old, and she's still like that. So what kind of scars have you put on my gorgeous skin?
More reserved, I guess, and conservative with my adventures. Now that I'm older, I was a tomboy so bad. So whatever the boys did, I did. I was climbing everything. I was playing in creeks and just, I got a leech stuck on my foot once when I was little. That was traumatic.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it was
That's
gross.
gross.
We shouldn't have been in the water we were in. But it moved, so we're like, yeah, it's all right.
Okay, that's gross.
That's that country living.
And I live in the country now, but I never. And as I sit here and tell this, it just so happens that my son is in the vicinity, and he's in the background. Like, you're the same way. You say the same thing to me. But I think I'll let him go out. I would have to let him say that on his own. But I think I'll let him go out and rough and tough and do all those things and all the gross things. He lives in the country, so he learned to fish and he likes to fish or he did. I don't know if he still does. And go out in the wilderness and do things. And I'm like, I'll be here. Holler at me when you get back. And
when we were really little, we used to camp as a family when we were little, like tent camp, and that is horrifying to me. I'm like, I could do a nice cabin or I don't know.
Glamping.
No, I did glamping with my sister once because she was going to have like a rustic wedding and have glamping. And I'm not a camper, but I was like, for you, I will go check out this glamping situation. And it was like a big tent. They had a real bed and there was power, so I had real lights. But it was a tent and there were bugs and it was cold. And I mean, it was all right.
About that RV life, baby.
I know.
That's glamping to me.
Yeah.
Dude, you slept in an actual tent?
It wasn't like a real
4-inch heels slept in a tent.
See, for my sister, the stuff I do. So no, it was like, the baby. I had a baby at the time. My middle one was a baby at the time, and he never slept. And he slept great outside. I liked it for that. But other than that, we went once. This is how much we don't do camping. Like my Dominican husband cannot do bugs in any form, like any size, and like that has trickled down to my kids, so they can't, like they scream and like can't do bugs. They just can't. They're big babies and it's not a thing that they can do. And I don't like bugs either, but I'm the one that has to like deal with them usually, so we don't do camping. The last time we went camping, our friends are big campers, and they're like, we were on a road trip and they're like, just meet us and camp overnight for one night. And we're like, whatever, it's one night, not a big deal. So it was my husband, my oldest, I think he was the only one at that time, my husband, my oldest, me, and then my brother-in-law and a cousin. So they were probably like 15, 16 at the time, those two. So we roll up to this campground. We're in a like Nissan Sentra. That's it.
Wait a minute. All y'all fit in a Nissan
Yes.
Sentra.
So we pull up to the gate, and the guy literally looks at us and is like, we're like, we just want a campground. And he's like, anything specific? And we're like, no. And he's like, you know what? Go ahead and just take this one. Like, he didn't charge us or anything. And we're like, there's something suspect that they're not even going to charge us to come here. So we got there. We had tents, which we set up horribly. We didn't have flashlights. We didn't have none of it. It poured that night. It was a disaster. And that's the last time we went camping. And that guy knew that we couldn't handle it. That's why he didn't charge us. He was like, listen, just do you. So our friends were there though. We had nothing with us. And our friends were there. They had like the RV set up. Like, my friend's dad had a special shovel that they used to dig trenches when it rains to funnel the water out of your campsite. And I was like, bro, we don't know what we're doing. So we went over there and they let us stay in their like nice dry area. They fed us food, but it was a disaster. And we're like, yeah, not doing this again.
It was wandering in the wilderness. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But I've seen new tents, like, because I always had friends that, for my son's sake, I never wanted him to miss out on things. So I have friends who were hog farmers, and he would be out there in the middle, real deal. And he would be out there in the middle of the woods. He was driving before I knew he was driving. Like, he's out there driving side by sides and 4x4s, and he out there and they out there hog hunting. And I'm like, dude, this is not my life. And they were like, Miss Ebony, we got him. Don't worry about it. And I wouldn't see my child for 48 hours. And they bring him back very dirty, but he'd be back and he would have had the time of his life. Friend that took him fishing and did all those things. And he was so proud when he caught his first little fish. And they sent me pictures. And I'm like, wonderful. Yeah, I'm on the sideline. I'm not doing any of that. But the luxury tents that they have out now that have built-in air conditioning and like full-size and queen-size beds, yeah, those I can do. The rest of
like
that,
I could do, yeah, like a tiny house somewhere. I could do that with like a full kitchen and all that. I don't want to have like food that I gotta cook on an open flame, or like, pre-packed sandwiches that's in a cooler. I just can't. We're bougie now. That's not my life.
Well, I don't mind the cooking on the open flame, because it's some amazing food that I've prepared out on the open. Just bring me back the food. I can do that part, but the rest of that, yeah, no, keep that.
And I will say too, when we were camping that one night, like, we had an air mattress. I'm not sleeping on the ground either. So I can't do that.
I feel every bit of that.
Yeah.
But nope. It wouldn't even, it couldn't be an inflatable though, because me and inflatables don't work. So no. I'd literally have to do like a hammock or something.
Yeah.
It would be horrible.
That's so funny.
Oh, and I hate caterpillars too.
Somebody went camping in, I think it was Michigan or something like that. And there were millions of caterpillars everywhere. It was terrifying.
Were they moths? There's a playground near us that has these trees where moths, whatever. I don't know.
All this.
And the caterpillars literally just drop out of the trees. And it is disgusting. So we don't go there when that is happening. Whatever they're doing.
Ew.
It's like those brute cicadas that are coming out this year. I'm like, oh, no, thank you.
So unicorn, you don't like, it sounds like there's a story behind that whole, I don't like inflatables. This one I want to hear, if you're willing to share.
No, I always push them. I don't know. It's crazy. Not caterpillars. And why are you in my conversation? My children would like to make their cameo, apparently. But I don't do inflatables because I always find a way to puncture them somehow. Like, it's just really weird. And then caterpillars, well, my uncle used to throw them at me. And one time there was one on the back of my shirt, and like, no bullshit, you would have swore it was a damn alligator sitting on my back. with the way I reacted. Like, it scared the bejesus out of me, and I couldn't get it off. So since then, I don't do caterpillars of any kind. And there are some poisonous ones. I'm just saying. Some people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
More childhood trauma. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
So what's everyone's best summer experience from when you were young?
My parents used to work. They both worked a lot, which is fine. So we would always be at my grandma's house. Like every day we would be at my grandma's house. And that's why we're so close with my grandparents. But like, so my grandma would take us to the dinosaur park because they had these like giant teeter-totter dinosaur things that you'd be able to like swing back and forth on. And then we would go see my great grandma, and she would yell at my great grandpa in Polish every time we went over, like without a doubt would yell at him in Polish. He'd go upstairs and bring down 2 $5 bills for me and my sister. So like, and my great grandma died when I was in 5th grade, I think. Yeah, because I was 5th grade going into 6th grade. So just having those memories with her and kind of knowing more about my Polish roots was, now as an adult, I appreciate it a lot. And I always had fun with my grandma. So, because she's my babcia and I love her.
So is there a thing behind the $5, or is that just because you were the great grandkids?
Just because we were the great grandkids, and we would be some of the only ones to like go in and check in on them. Even like we would go visit them on Halloween so they could see our Halloween costumes, because they couldn't go trick-or-treating with us. So my parents would bring us over there. There was a point where they couldn't come to, so Christmas Eve, I don't know if you guys know a lot about Polish stuff, but it's called Wigilia, and it's a very like sacred thing. Like my grandma and grandpa go get the bread blessed at the church, and we break bread with all our family members. So there was a point where neither of my great grandparents could come to Vigilia anymore. And that's when my parents were like taking us there for Halloween and all like, and Easter and all like these little holidays, just so they could like see their great grandkids grow up.
That's awesome.
That's super cute.
It looks like a very like poignant memory. Very. I saw a little emotion there. Very cute. What about my other Supremes? What do you guys remember fondly?
Just being out in the summer nights at my adopted mom's house while she played Scrabble with Auntie Matt and yelled at us at a distance.
Love it.
Usually telling me to go play somewhere because I should be with the kids.
Mm.
But I didn't like playing with those kids. I like being next to her, but whatever.
Did you ever play Scrabble?
We only played in the house, not outside. Outside was her and Auntie Matt. You didn't play with her and Auntie Matt. No. That's a violation for any kids to be over there. They took that game very seriously.
Do you play now? Like, is that something that stuck with you? Are you partial to Scrabble?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I don't play it much because, my kids, they don't really do board games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we have several board games just hanging around.
We don't have any
Card games. They're still considered board games.
No, they're not.
Yeah. So I'm not about to argue with the 11-year-old. But there are card games and board games that they don't want to play. So whatever.
There are 2 board games in this house and a couple of few cards.
Why the hell is this a whole discussion? I'm done. I'm going to mute.
Meanwhile, that's how I knew I was old, when I was a kid and they would tell us the kid stay in the child's place and get out of grown folks' business. I was like, I'm never going to say that to my child when I'm older. Although I don't think I said it. I said I was never going to say it to a kid because I never really envisioned like parenthood and all those kind of things. And if you could hear my son in the background making noises, one of the things I said all the time. Stay out of grown folks' business. Go over there with the kids and stay with the kids. That's how I knew I was old. That right there. And the peanut gallery is agreeing wholeheartedly in the background, as I don't think he's ever been in a recording with the Supreme. So he's in the background wholeheartedly agreeing.
Right. All these kids
That
just
part.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, they just pop up sometimes out of nowhere. Our family was a big board game family. Family time was very important because we could only watch TV a couple of hours a week. We could not watch. They didn't do that. Watch TV every day, all day. That wasn't their bag. So we played board games, and it's something we've passed down to our children. Like a game of Monopoly could be.
Monopoly is no joke.
Listen, a game of Monopoly is like a game of dominoes. It could be and checkers.
That's an investment.
Listen,
Yep.
and our kids, I think what was really funny was walking into my mom's house, seeing not my eldest, my elder brother. We have boys. Our boys are born in the same year. His in January, mine's in December of that year, and them two and his daughter in a heated game. I mean, a heated game of Monopoly. Like it was gonna be and the little kids tried to come in. My youngest brother has 2, and the little kids wanted to play, and they were like, "Yo, y'all too little. Get out of here. This is for real." They were playing, and they messed up the game. You know, little kids, they messed up the game, and it was something serious. It was like looking back at my brother and I when we were kids. So it's really cool to see them do that. So my mom will always keep a Monopoly game, a checkers game. You know, they thought they were the masters. Soon as they could beat us, they still hadn't got that down yet. They ain't grown.
No.
Okay, so
no. Why would you do that?
Supremes. Cass just mentioned this video, this TikTok. Cass is the TikTok guru. I don't do TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok. Let's just be honest. I've never actually done one. I don't see a need to. But to each his own. Do your thing. And she just mentioned a TikTok of the caterpillars. Why would she send it to us while we're recording on air? So now I got the heebie-jeebies because it was absolutely horrific. It's terrifying. And I am in shock right now, and I'm going to need a moment to process this and reflect on my life because that was horrific.
I needed you guys to be traumatized with me. I'm sorry.
You're better than I, because all I needed to see was one, and I turned it off. So that's a thing. Nope.
It was traumatizing, but I couldn't look away. I wanted to know why she kept recording, standing there like, and more and more and more. And I'm like, how many more do you need to see before it becomes a traumatic experience? And then I just couldn't turn away and take my eyes off of it. So I am now traumatized, and yeah, I don't know how to process that. Please, fellow counselors, how do I process my trauma now? Because Cass has given me adult trauma, and now I have to deal with childhood trauma and adult trauma, and this is not it.
Okay, Ebony, we see you're a little upset. Let's try some mindful breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Steady your breath. Yep. Steady your emotions.
No, now I feel like the caterpillars are going to be in my nose and out my mouth. No.
No.
Okay.
See? That's why I can't be watching none of that. If my kids get lost in a sea of caterpillars, I shit you not.
They're gone.
Do I just spit out all the water I just Listen. Shout out to the tea from the Supreme.
No bullshit.
That was tea.
That's why I hate bugs, though. I hate anything that can be on you before you know it's on you. Ugh.
Exactly.
Creepy.
Listen, now I have to wipe all the liquid off my screen because Unicorn just made me spit it all out. So Supreme's out there in listening land. If you hear this noise, It's just me wiping all the water off because I literally spit it all out everywhere. Because if the kids get lost in the sea of, you know, they out of luck. oh, sugar honey iced tea, they out of luck. It's over with.
I am not jumping in there anywhere. Absolutely not. Nope.
All right, so let's circle back. Julie, what is your summertime memory?
I think my favorite thing when I was really little, my parents had like a little boat. So we would just go on the lake and my dad would just gun it like across. It didn't go that fast, but we were tiny. So we felt like it was crazy fast. And just ride around on the water, jump off the boat and get back in again, even if it was cold or there's seaweed everywhere, which is something I probably wouldn't want to do now, but it was fun being on the lake. I still love that. Like Ebony was saying, just the water as like a calming, peaceful place. Like if I go on vacation and there's like I can have a balcony or like lay on a hammock by the ocean, just feel the breeze, hear the water. I'm good. I love it. Without bugs, but yeah, I love it. On the flip side, any like crazy, weird, or like annoying memories from a summer experience?
Nah, I didn't have any.
I'll give you guys one because this is one of my traumatic memories from childhood at that camp that I went to. We had bunk beds. So I had the bottom bunk, this girl had the top bunk. And there was like a really bad thunderstorm, which whatever, I didn't mind thunderstorms. And I was sleeping and like I could swear that the cabin was like leaking and I kept like covering my head. This girl peed through her bed and it like rained on me. And she was like 12. She was way too grown to be peeing her bed. And it was the worst. Like, I didn't know for a while because I was a good sleeper. Like that it was.
Yo, I didn't know you was into golden showers. That's a whole other situation. I'm just saying.
It was the worst. It was, I was traumatized. And to this day, not that there's a lot of opportunities, but I will not sleep on the bottom bunk. I don't care how old the person is that's sleeping above me. Ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. The worst.
I literally just That is fucking great. That's great. I literally died.
Listen, I don't condone violence to our Supremes that are listening with us, but I would have beat the brakes off her. I'm just going to tell you right now.
I would have got beat. Okay. I was not.
You would have got like nobody go out and beat anybody, but that right there at 12, yeah, I had to beat you. I had to beat you for every drop of pee that was on me. I had to beat you. Like I'd have had to beat you. Like real deal. You would have cried tears to match the pee because I would have had to beat you. Like it would have been.
One, my immediate concern was I need to get a shower now. But we were at camp, so they they take the whole mattress out, put it on like the deck of the cabin to air it out. So like the whole camp roasted her. So like she was branded, which probably sucked for her, but honestly. At least if your kid pees the bed at that age, at least tell the camp so you go on a bottom bunk or something. Ugh. The worst.
Well, not for inducing any trauma, but I'd have had to push her in the lake, trip her down, like something would have happened because that is absolutely disgusting. Like, did you not wake up in the middle of the pee and stop peeing? Like, did you try to get up?
Okay, honestly, There's a lot of
Were you holding
conversation
your
about
bladder the
pee.
whole
But
time? Like
honestly,
this
it
is
made it
just
all the way through the mattress, is what I'm saying. Like, what was she doing? I don't know. That's why I thought it was raining.
Did she not pee before she went to bed? How much pee do you have in you?
that's what
Yeah.
I'm
A
saying. Like,
12-year-old girl has that much pee.
I don't.
You
like
nasty.
you didn't stop in the middle of this whole stream. Like this is not the conversation we were supposed to be having. But I'm just saying, like you didn't realize. I'm trying to remember me at 12 years old with my bladder, and if I did somehow pee in the bed, like I can't even fathom that I did, but maybe I did, right? I went through a traumatic time. I did go through a traumatic time when we moved from New York, and I went through a very traumatic period trying to adjust. And I did start, like that's probably not really, but at this point I really don't care. I went through a phase of wetting the bed. Now I can associate it to the trauma, but I didn't realize, nobody put that together. It was just traumatic making this move. But I realized, like, oh my God, I couldn't stay sleeping in that. Like, oh, okay, get up. I'm trying to hide the sheets and go put them in the wash machine before, anybody realized, and cleaning the mattresses and stuff. Like I couldn't stay in the middle of, oh God, no, that's disgusting. Oh, I can't fathom. I'm such a visual person. Oh my God. All I can see is the caterpillar. Oh.
We're all traumatized from your trauma, Joy.
Oh my God. It probably got in your mouth and everything. Oh,
No,
I'm traumatized.
But
I'm
it did get in my hair. I was lucky though, at least like, we were sleeping in sleeping bags, like on a bed. So like I thought it was raining. So I like just tucked in. So at least I had that, but it was the worst. The worst.
Oh my God. Both of y'all have now traumatized me tonight. Okay. Oh my God. I need a moment. Supremes, this is what happens for real. Y'all listen to us because they do this on purpose, I think, and try to traumatize me because I am very, very sensitive. And right now I'm very emotional. Oh my God. Okay. Whew. Oh Jesus. Okay. I'm ready. All right. Continue on. Oh, I'm traumatized now.
So if there's no other stories, what is your favorite summer activity? Or if you could do anything this summer? I know we've been really restricted with COVID times. If you could do something that you haven't been able to do in a while as an ideal summer thing, what would you do?
Lay in the sun without it being too peoply. That would be my ideal thing with music.
People is difficult. I feel like, especially now, I almost feel like it's worse now because now people are like, we gotta go everywhere. So everything is too people-y.
Exactly. They're like, they don't even care where they're going. Just, hey, let's get out. We've been in the house for 12 months already, 18 months. So we got to do something. Like, no, we don't. We don't all got to leave at the same time, sir. You can wait. Like, where are you going? I promise you, I don't want to be outside. Like, Jesus. It's crazy. Like, even at the park, there was like a whole family having a cookout for, I'm assuming, a toddler because it had a one, But like there were just people everywhere. Like surely not all of them are vaccinated, and like nobody had masks on, not even the kids.
You know what they're doing in our state? I don't know if they're doing it in other states, but our state actually has a promotion for vaccines. If you get your vaccine, you can get a park pass that gets you into any of the parks for free and free parking for any of the state parks, which is cool.
Like there's a lot of people out, but they're advocating for everybody to now come out and do things. And I miss travel. Travel is my passion. I miss it. but I'm not ready to be. I'm ready to go, but I'm not ready to people, which is very funny as we're going into this profession. And I think I can say it's 4 for 4 that none of us are people-y. Like we don't.
No.
It's very funny as we're going into this profession to help people and be around people. None of us are people-y. So I want to be out. I want to, and I'm going to travel. I got to go do some things. And because I have to go do some things, I am going, but I'm still masked up, 2 masks. That's not stopping. That's not changing. I'm so glad they put that I want that to stay a mandate. Like, I'm going to wear a mask for the rest of my life. I'm just going to tell you, like, I'm just going to be masked up for forever. But
well, that's the thing. There were signs up at the park, but I don't know. I guess they ignored them coming in or something. I don't know.
I think most places, not most places, at least here, now that the mandate has changed, I think it doesn't, I don't think unvaccinated people really care. If vaccinated people are unmasked, a lot of the people that are unvaccinated are because they didn't agree with masks and such either. So I feel like everyone's going to be unmasked, which so there's like a little thing near where we live where you can walk around the water. And we went recently. My 5-year-old is not vaccinated. There's no vaccine yet for his age, so he got to wear a mask. I'm fully vaccinated. My husband is fully vaccinated, but it's not fair for him like us to make the baby wear a mask, but we don't have to wear a mask. So we wear, we're walking around wearing masks. And the guy that was at the little guard there, ran me down and was like, "You don't have to wear a mask." I'm like, I know I don't have to, but he's like, it's the rules change, so you don't have to wear a mask here. I'm like, good for the rules. I don't know. I'm gonna make my baby wear a mask and I don't have to wear a mask. And it's not hurting me at all. I don't understand.
I was just telling my mom and my stepdad, I wear a mask in public. Number 1, because people are nasty. Number 2, I don't want people to know I'm a raging Republican as well. So that part.
I also like the not being recognized part. You know what I mean? Your mask takes up so much of your face that you can just hide, in public. I don't. Where I live is super. We're in a small community, but it's also super urban. So the second you walk out of your house, you see somebody So at least with my mask, I'm less recognizable. I can kind of chill in the.
Yo, Cass, we gotta go back to that. So what? You don't want the world to know you're a raging Republican?
Yeah. Conservative, which is fine. I'm not knocking people who are Republican and who are conservative. You have your own viewpoints. I respect it. We can respectfully agree to disagree on certain topics. But for the most part, I am very liberal. I will do my part. I will keep wearing my mask. Even though I'm vaccinated, I can technically still be a carrier until proven otherwise for COVID. So not only am I doing it for me, I'm doing it for everybody else who could suffer from what I'm carrying around. And me having pneumonia, I'm still fucking freaked out. So I'm just I need to not only do my part for myself, but for other people.
I told my husband, I was like, we need to make masks that are anti-vaxxer and hashtag F vaccines and stuff, and then brand the masks. And my husband's like, wait, so you're going to ask people who don't want to wear a mask? I'm like, yeah, because they're more. No. Anyways.
You can make so much money off of that, girl.
Listen, and I'm not, and I will say I'm not vaccinated. I am not. And we've had this conversation as Supremes. But whether I choose, and I've for many reasons. I haven't decided. I'm still deciding. Let's say that. I haven't made a decision one way or the other. However, even though I'm not, and I respect whichever way you decide to go on the topic, I'm still masked up. Like I'm ready to punch my son. A lot of times I see him because he's not. I had my mask on. Where is it now? Like I'm walking in the door. That's not the point, son. So I am all about protecting self and others. So I'm all about staying masked up. So and it depends on how travel and gatherings happen. I was just at my bonus son's graduation, and a lot of people weren't. But hey, listen, I took it off for the picture's sake. Like, oh, okay, yeah, cheese. But then let's put that bad boy back on because this is a whole different situation. I don't really know. So we'll see how travel goes.
I don't mind wearing. I figure my 5-year-old is a strong, defiant little man, and if he can wear one, it's not. I mean, I feel like the time for this conversation is over because we're kind of wrapping up on masks. But all I know is the only person in my household that got COVID was the baby who cannot wear a mask. So that's some BS. And
I'm just saying, nobody in my house has had it.
Right. So
right. Thank God. Nobody else in my house now. I have had, unfortunately, friends and family to pass from COVID and complications. Some took it seriously, some did not. Me, on the other hand, well, yeah, I was in the house anyway. I am healing and recuperating, so but I had to be at hospitals and doctors and like, listen, bro, I need 2 masks. I don't know what you're saying. And there's my sister's like, they're an accessory for you. Absolutely. I have brought them in colors, styles, and patterns and
trust and believe. I got one with a unicorn.
Listen, of course you do. I love that. I love that unicorn. So I'm respectful. If you don't want to get vaccinated, be respectful of those that are around you and stay masked up. And if you are vaccinated and you choose to, that's your right. That's your cool. Because the person that should be in, if there's a fear, the person that should be in fear is me. That's not vaccinated, not you who are. So, to each his own. I'm really ready to jump on a cruise ship.
Like if it's not for you, and I will say for our personal experience, we wanted to wait for the vaccine. We wanted to get vaccinated, and that's important to us. But there are people in our lives who don't want to do any of that stuff. And it's like, okay, that's cool that you do you. So we haven't been able to see them, and they get mad about it. It's like, no, you're doing you, which is fine. You do you, but you do you over there, because what we're doing doesn't match what you're doing, and we're not going to let what you're doing impact what we're doing. So it's just
absolutely, it's a personal decision. I really want to jump on a cruise ship, and I really want to be out in the water, but the talks are that some of them will make it mandatory. That is deciding, because part of my former life, I was a travel agent, and still am technically. But and when you start making,
when we go to New Orleans, there's ships that go out of there. I'm just saying.
Listen, there are ships. The mayor of New Orleans is real deal serious, and she's not letting people come in and do these things, because New Orleans was hit. I mean, I have family in New York, so I understand. And I have family in the medical profession. I have friends who are nurses and doctors and family members and things of that nature who suffered through COVID and worked through COVID. So I know a lot of them are itching to get out and see something other than scrubs in the hospital and all that, because it was for their own self-care, because it was horrific if that's all you see every day, all day. The deaths were so crazy in NYC. They were renting refrigerated 18-wheelers so they could house the bodies. This is not summer, but I mean, so thinking on the terms of New Orleans after Mardi Gras, the city of New Orleans and surrounding areas was hit so bad. There were so many, I think the numbers were like 70% of the deaths in Louisiana initially were from New Orleans and the surrounding parishes. People coming in for Mardi Gras and things like that. So the mayor shut New Orleans down. And she was like, I don't care what the state recommends, the government, I don't care. The city is going to shut down. In places like lower wards and stuff like that, where everybody is like being in New York. Everybody is on top of each other. You know, that made transmission just unimaginable. Let's say that. So yeah, I'm with that whole mask thing. I'm with that because I want to get out and I want to travel. So we'll see how that works. I don't want to be in the middle of the ocean with a mask on, but I mean, you know, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. If they let me back on the ship, if they don't let me back on the ship, then you know, I'm just gonna be.
There's always resorts.
So traveling this summer, as we're talking about our summer life and thinking of, because all of that is a part of it, thinking of how we come out of COVID and how we come out of quarantine. What if they do make it mandatory to fly, that you're vaccinated, or mandatory to travel, interstate travel, if you're not, you know, to be vaccinated to do that? How does that affect your travel? I mean, I know you're vaccinated. I know some of you are vaccinated. I won't say you're, because it's your choice to reveal or not reveal that. But how do you see that? How does that affect going to see family, friends, you know, going out of the country if you choose to do that? How does that affect that?
That would positively break my heart, but I am firm on a no vaccinations. So the only traveling I'll be doing is to the store. So that's
minus the caterpillars.
I ain't fucking with those caterpillars. If those are out, girl, I will have it delivered. We ain't doing that.
Listen, shout out to all the people that was delivering, because they created a whole new
girl. Okay, where we live, everything deliver everything. It's a miracle.
It's a whole. And you think like,
you know what, you can be delivery, like it's so much safer to be a delivery driver now, because I saw them just drop off at the door. All the money, there's no exchange of money. They don't have to carry cash, and then they just drop it off in pieces. Safer, quicker, convenient.
Like, it makes me think a year, like before the last 18 months, you know, as we're going into 2 years at this point, pushing that mark. What did we do before then? Like, how did we not have these services before then? Like, I think I used to say, man, it's so lazy to have your groceries delivered. Why would you do that? Now I'm like, God, I'm in the country. I wish
I
more
was-
stores
I was
to me in
doing
the
all that stuff.
country.
I was doing all that stuff before, but just because of where we live. But yes, as soon as I found out you could get your groceries delivered and they will walk them, like depending before COVID, now they drop them off at the door. But they used to walk them all the way to the kitchen. If I didn't mind, they would bring them all the way in. I was like, all right, thank you. Like $300, $400 worth of groceries. I was like, that's things for me to do.
Listen, I have a sibling who lives by that. And I mean, will tip heavily. And I remember talking to that particular sibling, like, and they were on the phone with me, and it was like, oh man, they look like they struggling. It's such a tiny little girl. She's struggling up the steps. I'm like, what do you mean? Are you going to help? Are you going to help her? No, but I'm going to give her a nice tip for struggling because those cases of water look heavy. But I'm going to let her bring them all the way up to the door. And I was like, yo, that's so wrong. But it's like, no, it's not wrong. It is your job. And I want to help you enjoy. That is their philosophy. I
But
want to help
you should
enjoy.
tip generously, especially if it is like that, like groceries, a whole bunch,
They
or anything
tip
extra. Yes.
upwards. They tip upwards 25-30% on a regular because these are services that they use on a regular. But I'm like, did you just give them a $20 tip? Man, I don't think that's enough. Did you just give them a $25 tip? Listen, they carry all 4 cases of those water, and man, if I could leave it right there on the step, I would. So they wholeheartedly believe in, and I agree. You know, I never necessarily worked in the service industry, but I agree. You give good service, I will leave you a excellent tip. You do not leave good service. You not do good service, I will not leave an excellent tip. Please understand. But they tip wholeheartedly because they believe in all of that: breakfast, lunch, dinner, groceries, water.
I remember there was one day that we got groceries delivered and it kept getting delayed and kept getting delayed. And I was like, what is going on? It was so late. It was like 4 hours late, and it was like late in the evening. I was like, what is going on? So then I finally see the guy outside. I was like, all right, I see the truck. He brings a bag up to the door, and I haven't gone out yet. So he brings the bag out. I see him for a second, and then I go out to get out there, and he's standing by his truck again. I was like, what is going on? Like, there's no bag on the ground. He's standing by his truck. And then he just got in his truck and left. I was like, bro, he just dipped. What is... I called the store. I was like, like, I saw him. He was
Did he steal your food?
And then the store was like, let me get back to you. And then they called us back and they're like, yeah, we're gonna send groceries tomorrow. So I don't know if he quit. He just had a day and was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just done. And
like, did you let you read groceries? He wasn't bringing them up.
I don't know. He came and then he was just. I was like, and my son was in the room with me because I was like, you saw him, right? Like at first second, I was like, he was there, right? And he's like, yeah, he was at the door. I'm like, he never came back. And the person that brought the groceries the next day was not that guy. So. I don't know what happened, but he had a day and was over it or something. I have no idea.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
So what do you guys do for your children in the summertime?
What do we do for them?
Yeah, what do you do with them? Like,
I would say where we live is amazing. And it might be like this most places. It wasn't when I was growing up, but that like every park has like a splash park or like a little like a 3-foot pool or like crazy water stuff, like every park here. And there's so many parks, so literally we just take, my kids love the water and I need them to run their energy, so we literally go from a different park every day and they just run around in the water and do their stuff, and then that's how they get their energy out. But we didn't have any of that. Not even the nice parts growing up. There was no like whatever pool situation, and they're all free. Like our town is building like a pool that, you know, they'll charge, like a real pool, whatever. But these are like mini, they got slides, all kinds of stuff, and they're just public parks. So
No,
that's
we
what
don't
we
have.
do.
No, we don't have that.
Yeah, I think it's just we're lucky because of where we live. But I guess in urban areas, that's what, you know, you gotta give the kids something to do. So that's what we do. Let them run outside. And we do a lot of hiking. We try to hike. I mean, before COVID, we were hiking like every other day, which I hope we get back there. Now with school and stuff, it's kind of hard to devote that much time, but we like to hike a lot. Ebony's making like cringe faces. I love hiking. It's so much fun.
It's a hike trying to get from my driveway to my house. That's enough nature for me. Like, I don't need any more nature. I couldn't get any more rule if I tried. I don't want to be outside. I don't want things flying on me and touching me, and I don't want to sweat. No, I don't want to do any of that. Not at all.
I love it. What about you, Mitra? What do you do with your kids in the summer?
Try not to drop them off at the black market. That's about it.
I tell my kids all the time I'm gonna sell them. All the time. I'm like, I'm gonna sell you. How much can I get for you?
Right. I need you to not do any back shop or any of this that you normally do. Like, no refunds, no returns. All sales are final. Like, no.
Yep, I tried that with my son once, and he was like, "So, Ma, didn't I come out of you? So you gonna make me go back?" No, bro, ain't no return policy. What you mean? No.
My oldest
That's
for the
a one.
longest.
That's a one way. That's a one way street. Like, there's no going back to that right there, bro. Like,
My
that's not
oldest
going
for the longest time thought that we bought him at Best Buy. I don't know why. He told us that he came from Best Buy, and I was like, "You came from?" I said, "We got you at Best Buy." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "How much we pay for you?" He was like, $80.
Maybe he was a
I was like,
Best Buy
$80
employee in a previous life.
I mean,
That could be a thing.
I don't know. For the longest, that's what he thought babies came from Best Buy. They don't
So
even
did he
know
tell
there's
his
a big
younger-
house there. I don't even what.
Did he tell his younger siblings that?
No, I don't think so. But when my brother had his first child, like I said, we had to go to the hospital. He was like, "What?" Because he was like, "Didn't she doesn't come from Best Buy?" I was like, "No, she doesn't."
My younger siblings thought they were from Pluto. It's the running joke in my family that two of my younger siblings swore they were from Pluto. And one day they packed their bag and said, "We're going back. We don't belong here." Listen.
What kind of stuff were you telling your baby brothers or baby sisters, whatever?
Listen, they were from
That's
and yeah, that was that. I don't know where they got that from. And they were like, and to this day, that one of those siblings, like, "I told y'all, I knew I was an alien and I wasn't from here, and I need y'all to send me back because y'all are crazy. I'm right, y'all are wrong, and we're going back to Pluto." And they packed their bags one day and they were like, "We're going back to Pluto. Let's go. Come on, let's go back to Pluto." I don't really think it worked out well for them that way, but I mean, by all means.
I was about to ask, how did they enjoy their trip?
Listen.
Oh,
One of them been trying to get back to Pluto as long as I can remember. I don't know. Maybe they made it in some other way and I didn't know about
Listen,
it. But
if you make enough money now, you could just take your own rocket. That's what people be doing. Just make your own rocket.
pretty much.
Go. But it's not a planet anymore. You know what I learned the other day? This is ridiculous because I didn't know this, but did you guys know that the moons of like Saturn and Jupiter are bigger than most of the planets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But I'm like, where did they get off calling it a moon? And my son's like, because they don't revolve around the sun, they revolve around the planet. I was like, yeah, but if they get hit by something, I bet they're gonna start revolving around the sun. So maybe in the future, They're gonna be a planet. That's discriminatory.
Like, I was real suspect when I found out that it was a long time ago though. But when I found out Pluto wasn't a planet, I felt real, like I felt some type of way.
Some type of
I
way.
just,
Mhm.
yeah, I felt some type of way.
Okay, ladies. So last week we were setting goals and we haven't spoken about how we're doing. So let's just recap real quick on how you're doing on your goals and if you're meeting your objectives, and then share one goal for summer, a fun goal, something that you want to do or achieve just for the summer. So who wants to be accountable first? Asa?
Am I supposed to remember my goals I set last?
Well, that makes me feel better because I surely don't remember my goals from last week. No bullshit.
It's been that kind of situation these last couple of weeks. So let's say that I don't remember the goals. Let's just be transparent because it happens that way. Let's be honest. You know, real talk supremes. We give all the tea. That's the tea. So my goal is to make it through this quarter. A, make it through this quarter. But B, make it through this quarter continuing a 4.0 student. Is looking suspect today, but it'll look better tomorrow. It looked okay yesterday. Real suspect today. For the summer, I want to find a new activity to enjoy. I'm learning to enjoy the small victories. I think I sent a message to the Supremes last night that it wasn't where I wanted to be, but it was a small victory. So I'm learning to see the beauty in those small victories. So that's my goal for summer, to literally not stress it and just enjoy it. So I'm taking that stride in this quarter, and that's my mindset going into. That's going to be my vibe this summer, that I'm just going to do me, and that's that.
I love it. That's a good goal. It's a powerful goal. It's a little goal, but it's a big goal. So that's a good one.
So I think one of mine was being active. So I have been closing some rings on my watch here. So that's improvement. Yay! Thank you. So, and then the other one, I'm not sure what the other one was, but I'll take it for getting through this quarter with A's, because baby, that B hurt my feelings real bad. It brought my GPA down to a 3.88. No bullshit. I was in bed for a good week. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a hard hit.
Yes, it is. So that is
you got it.
And then for facts. And then for the summer, I'm gonna try and get outside and enjoy the sun. Even if that's just laying in my hammock or actually going on a trail walk.
A hammock sounds amazing. And you can always run around on a trampoline.
If we get it all, we literally have to get the mat on, and that's taken forever.
It's too much.
We got it halfway up, and everybody just kind of quit. So it'll be there for tomorrow.
So I think my two goals were mindfulness and gratitude. I think I've been doing sleep meditations every night before I go to bed, so I don't go to bed with anxiety. And then I lost my gratitude journal, so your girl hasn't been doing that. But I'm still grateful. I still name 3 things I'm grateful for every day when I wake up. So it's not just writing it down.
It's a verbal journal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the mindset. That's good.
Listen, it's real life. That's how real life goes. We have the ebbs and flows. That's how it goes.
And then I think 3 goals I have for the summer is 1, convince my fiance to get a pool, because I want a pool really bad. And speaking of the sun and vitamin D, like vitamin D deficient here, especially with COVID and being inside and depression, blah, blah, blah. So get outside more like Mitra, work out more. I've been trying to work out and eat healthy, get my life together. And then what was my last one? I forgot my last one. Yeah, I forgot my last one. It's okay. So what are your goals, Julie?
Mine were, the first one was being intentional about working out, which I said I'm bad at sticking to goals that I don't want to do. So that one's not going so great. However, I did, like, immediately after I set that goal, I was at my mom's. I went on the bike and did some intentional stuff. I've been trying to be more active with my kids at the park. We take them out to the park a lot, but like actually running, which I'm not a fan of, but I've been doing it. So I say that's a win. Keeping my grade at a 4.0, which so far so good. I only have one grade back this quarter, so I'll take it. And then continuing our networking, which we were all doing. We were fortunate enough to participate in a training activity for our professors. So that was a fun experience, and that was a big networking thing that all of us got to participate in, except for poor Cass, who wasn't feeling well. But we're still keep her in the loop. And for the summer, like Cass was saying, the vitamin D, getting outside. I always feel better when I'm outside. The process to get me outside is kind of a lot, and to like lug my kids outside. I gotta be, like I said, I'm living around people, so I got to be presentable the second I go out the door. That's a whole thing. But my goal for this summer is to really get outside every day that it's nice. Like, I'd love to take my kids to the park every single day, but at least every day that it's nice, I'm gonna try. So that's the goal. And then it'll be better. Like, it's good for all of us. Get in that sun, get my kids running around so they get tired, so they sleep, hopefully.
Listen, we're joking and we're laughing, but something I learned that I did not know during this time of quarantine is that African Americans are severely vitamin D deficient. I did not. That's just a general statistic that I did not know. So I personally am now taking vitamin D. And I was so deficient that I had to take prescription vitamin D, which is not something I like, prescription pills. So I am finding a natural alternative, but real deal, get out, get that vitamin D in your system. You know, those things, those vitamin levels, please check those, guys, like real deal, check those out, and make sure you're healthy as you're becoming mentally healthy. Make sure you're becoming physically in the best form and shape that you can be in.
So thank you everyone for joining us for our fun summer episode. We'll be back again next week. And in the meantime, enjoy your summer. Get outside and spend time with your own Supremes. And then come back and hang with these Supremes next week. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.